Wait, if your UTME was next week, what topics will you study to still get an 80 plus in your UTME chemistry? In this video, I'll be telling you all about that. I'm quite sad now because a number of JAMBites are doing this one thing. What is this one thing? In your UTME exams, UTME has a way of camping around some certain topics over the years, and these topics are what I call high yield topics. What some aspirants do is that they pick certain topics which are really not likely to come out because they have not actually come out in the past years so much, and they camp around those ones, while the ones, for example, in chemistry like electrolysis, they do not study it. Like organic chemistry, they do not study it. So in this video, I'll be giving you the 10 most repeated UTME chemistry topics, and I'll also be giving you the tips on reading these topics in 30 days and also how to tackle questions on these topics when you see them in your exam. So topic 1 is atomic structure and electronic configuration. How will you study chemistry and you don't know atomic structure and electronic configuration? Like how? It is like the basics of chemistry, the foundation for knowing or understanding almost anything in chemistry. So you have to understand your electronic configuration, 1s2, 2s2, 2p6. You also have to understand atomic structure, the models of atoms, John Dalton's model, J.J. Thomson's model, how electrons was discovered, how protons were discovered, and the like. So the next thing is periodic table. Periodic table is very essential to know as a chemistry O-level student, because periodic table is literally where we have all the elements in chemistry, and chemistry is based on the elements in chemistry. So why will you not know the periodic table? So you have to understand the periodic table in and out. Chemical bonding and molecular structures. Chemistry is all about bonding. You have to understand the chemical bonding, because literally that is how chemical compounds are made, and many of the compounds we have in chemistry are made. So understanding chemical bonding is very, very prior to you passing chemistry. Stoichiometry and chemical laws, very, very important. Why will you go to JAMB without knowing stoichiometry? So there's a particular UTME I wrote. I'm not sure I saw a stoichiometry question there, but I still saw a calculation in chemistry question which was on electrolysis, which I'll be talking on. So you have to understand stoichiometry very well, very well. Stoichiometry is anything that has to do with matter and mole, mass, molar mass, those things, Avogadro's number. Know it very well. If your textbook that you're currently using is not giving you details, buy a small pamphlet on understanding calculations in chemistry. Acid, base, and salt, also very, very important. You have to understand your acid, base, and salt. You have to understand what is an acid, what is neutralization, what that type of acid we have, what are the salts we have, basic salts, and all of that. Redox reaction and electrochemistry. This is very important, very, very important, especially electrochemistry, which contains electrolysis. Before you know your electrolysis, you have to already have some knowledge on redox half cell equation. So that's why you have to read up your redox. Redox means reduction and oxidation. So do well to read your redox. It's very important to you understanding electrolysis. And electrolysis, I'm not even sure there's a year that UTME doesn't set question on that, because all the years I've written, I've always seen questions on electrolysis. It's very important. Even though they don't ask any stoichiometrical question, they will ask you an electrolytic question. Then the next one is organic chemistry. Organic chemistry is like the boss of what we're trying to talk about here. Organic chemistry is so important that if if you don't know it by the time you are going into your exam, or just pray to God, just pray for mercy. It's very important that you know organic chemistry. I know it's kind of wide, I know it's kind of broad, but you have to know your organic chemistry. Organic chemistry is the study of carbon without oxides of carbon and without metallic compounds of carbon like carbides, alright? And this is what organic chemistry is actually about. So when we're talking about hydrocarbons, methane, ethane, this is what we're talking about. So you have to know homologous series, functional groups, what are the various functional groups, what are the various homologous series that we have. You have to know the reactions of this homologous series or these functional groups. You have to know these things. These things are very important. These things are so important. You have to know hydrocarbon, petroleum, how is petrol extracted. You know, these things are actually very, very important. And also your petrochemicals. You have to know what petrochemical is, fuel rating. Very important, guys. Very important. Then rate of reaction and chemical equilibrium. You have to know what chemical kinetics is, what they mean by rate of reaction. You You have to understand the factors, formulate the factors that affect the rate of reaction. I think there are more than 7. You have to know all of them and how they affect it. Alright, so for your chemical equilibrium, you have to know when equilibrium will shift, if pressure is applied, when equilibrium will shift, if temperature, whether equilibrium will shift to the left or to the right, when you, in an endothermic reaction, when you increase the temperature or when you decrease the temperature. These are the things that you have to know. So, and metals and its compound, although you might not need to get everything on this metals and its compound, but the common ones you have to know. You have to know what metals are. You have to know the activity series. You have to know sodium, extraction of sodium, extraction of calcium, extraction of iron, sodium, iron, and extraction of aluminium. At least know those ones. Know those ones and know your alloys. Every alloy. Try to know your alloys. And if you don't know outside this one, is very important last one. Know all ores. Know the ores of many metals. The ores of zinc, the ores of transition metals, the ores of tin, cassiterite, the ores of magnesium, the ores of calcium, fluorspar. Many of these ores. Calcium also has another ore, dolomite. Many of these ores you have to understand them because these are what UTME like to test students on. Then lastly, environmental chemistry. Try to know what hard water is, what soft water is. Try to know the pollutants of air, and try to know how you can cure water pollution and all these things. These are the things that really help you. How you can cure hard water, temporarily hard water, temporarily and permanently hard water. So these are the topics, guys. But if you want to take home like 5 out of everything I've said: 1, stoichiometry; 2, electrolysis and redox reaction; 3, organic chemistry; then 4, metals and its compounds. If you want to pass, just go and get these 4 and those 2 basics that I mentioned in the beginning. Alright guys, so these are the topics that you really need to understand when it comes to chemistry. So thank you so much for watching this video. Bye.